my opponent might be, I'm gonna get, I'm mad. You could be mad. Like I don't have to get mad. Me getting mad at you isn't my motivation. It's just the fact that you signed a contract is my motivation. Because anytime you sign a contract, that means you think you can beat me. And if you think you can beat me, well, then that's all I need. So that's the motivation I have. I don't need any other extra motivation because it's enough. You think you can beat me. You think that you can go in this cage and get your hand raised before over me. I don't think that.
Yo, this is your boy Phil Wham Bam Benamino, and it's season two of the Wham Bam podcast, and super excited. As I told you before, our countdown is crazy this year, and we're kicking it off with our very first guest, who happens to be a super good friend of mine. He was on season 1 podcast. He was the winner of the Contender series, but he did not get the UFC contract. Dana White didn't give him the opportunity right then and there. However, good news since then, and he's here to tell us about it today. And we're happy to have him in the house. My boy Torrez, the Punisher, Finney. What's up, baby?
What's up, man? Happy to be on the show, baby. Thank you for having me back on, brother.
Man, year two, man. It's just like bam, like that.
Time go by so fast. You know, I was on here at the end of last year. And, you know, we had a whole conversation. A lot of things have transpired since then. And, hey, what a blessing to be back here again.
Well, man, I appreciate you coming down here. We're super excited about your news. So you're going to be going back on the Contender.
Yes, sir.
You got a fight coming up August 20th. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's going to be kind of hard if you win that fight. Or should I say when you win that fight, for them not to give you the UFC contract, don't you think?
Yeah, I'm in that position, man. What a blessing of a position to be in compared to most guys that go to Contender series. You know, I'm in that. You win twice on this show. You know, last time I talked about if you win with a finish, you get a 90% chance of getting a contract.
Yes,
you win the second time on the show, it's 100% chance you get a contract because it's like, okay, anything I'm putting in front of you, you're showing that you're getting past it, you're beating whatever I'm putting in front of you. So it's a little bit like less pressure in that aspect, but I still want to go in there, perform to the best of my ability, and get that guy out of there.
Well, do you think, you know, anything had to do with it, your fight in Jacksonville? So you fought in Jacksonville several months ago, a little bit long ago, and I actually happened to be there. It was freaking phenomenal, just the atmosphere and being a part of it all.
That's right.
But you knocked a guy out. I've seen a lot. Listen, I've been in a lot of UFC fights. I've been in a lot of fights. I've watched a lot of videos. Dude, that may be the craziest knockout I've ever seen in my life. It was sick, bro.
I know, man. Dude, I told people when I landed that punch, see, I threw it, we set it up. You know, a lot of people see all my social media, I set that punch up.
Oh my God.
Training. And when I set it up, I was like, okay, I'm going to set it up, utilize my takedown. I didn't feel like I threw it with every intention. Now, you hear the, like you hear, I'm trying to
heard the smack. I was in there.
I'm trying to put some
man, we're going to play that. We're going to clip that up there. Alexander's going to put that up there, man, for us so we can see that crowd.
Yeah, I'm trying to put some oomph behind it. But time stopped for me. I slowly saw him fall, and I said, oh, man, I'm about to have a walk-off knockout.
Yeah.
So I said, what do you do? It's like, you know, I'm going through like 18,000 different scenarios in my head. I'm like, just turn around and do the Spartan, you know, open your hands. So I turned around and I did that, you know, because like out of all the people I've trained with, you know, a lot of them have some on the feet knockouts, but they never had a walk-off knockout. I'm one of the only ones from my gym to have that. So to drop somebody and to walk off, you know, in that type of fashion, that was pretty cool, you know. So
well, I'm going to say the only reason why in my world, because I was sitting back there and I said, give him the wham, bam, slam. And all of a sudden, this overhand right just came and poof. And I'm telling you, he fell. And unfortunately for him, I felt bad. I thought he was dead. Like, I mean, I've never seen somebody go down that hard. You know, in fact, you know, it's horrible, you know, for him, obviously, the situation stuff. But, man, I mean, you dented his head, man. You dented his skull. I know you ended up breaking his jaw in a couple places. Unfortunately, he had to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I checked up on him after, you know, because that's more of my heart towards him. Like, obviously, we want to go in there, but we don't want it to be career-affecting or life-changing. You know, we don't want those type of things to happen to him, but we understand the business that we're in. Right. You know, I tell people, I compare it to football. It's like when somebody coming across the middle, well, the rules are changed down. Right. But when somebody come across the middle and they get hit by the safety and boom, they got to get stretched out, Yes, good play on by the safety. We're all, man, big hit, da da. But again, you don't want it to be life changing for that guy. You want him, him to be all right.
At the end of the day, you're both warriors. I mean, it's your
That's
job.
right.
That's what you're in there. You're in there fighting. But unfortunately, only one can come out as a winner.
That's right.
You know, but that was by far. I know that video went viral. Yeah. It's gone crazy and stuff. Have you heard anybody from UFC after that? Because they had already put you on the Contender prior to your fight, correct?
Yes, sir, they did. So a lot of people don't know that, but yeah, I had already. I was sent the contract for the Contender series 4 weeks before that fight. Management team was talking to me. I had talked with coaches, like, are you sure you still want to take that fight? Because this guy has a lot of experience. 1, you don't want to get hurt. 2, you don't want to take a loss.
Right.
3, even though you win, you don't want to have a bad performance. You go in there, it goes 3 rounds, hard nose, split decision type. You don't want to have that. Like, you don't want to take that risk. But for me personally, I wanted to take that risk because I said, for one, I hadn't fought since October, and I don't want my next fight to be on the Contender series. I want to continue to get that experience. I always tell people, I want more fights. I don't want to not fight because I love what I'm doing.
Right.
But it's hard for me to get fights. And I'm like, man, if I got somebody that said yes, I need to take advantage of it regardless of whatever that other side could be. And, we were just blessed to hit it with a home run. So.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's one thing I know about you. You never say no to fights. You love to fight. And I saw that today. Actually, I got to go watch you work out and stuff. We went to America's Top Team.
That's right.
Right here in Atlanta and stuff. And, watching you roll. You were just enjoying it, man. Like a lot of these people, it's early in the morning, they're getting up, but you got the $1 million smile all the time, laughing, having a good old time.
Yes.
And, I'm seeing people sweating and you're just having fun, man. You're just enjoying doing what you do. Like you really do enjoy it, don't you?
I really enjoy this, man. I tell, my granddad asked me, like, do you ever think about, do you want to go back to football ever again? And I tell him, no. It's like at a time, there probably was a time when I would have said, yes, I would love to go back to football. But at this time now, no. I absolutely enjoy and love doing what I do. Yeah. Like, fighting is so fun. I never thought in my life that I would be saying, yeah, going to punch somebody in the face 10 o'clock in the morning is enjoyable. Yeah. And getting punched back in the face. But I love that stuff, man. I love that, that viciousness, that the camaraderie amongst, like, people understand you go in blood, sweat, and tears. We both understand whoever you're sparring against, whoever you're competing against. We understand the risk that is going on, but we love it. Like, people getting up, we're over here swinging and banging, like, man, that's a hard shot. Who cares? Throw something back. It got me all fired up thinking about it. But I love that stuff, man. I love training. As I told you before, I love training. I love competing.
It's so funny because that's always like the hardest thing. People are working hard every day. You're cutting weight, you're training, you're waking up early, you're doing 2-3 sessions, a day to get your body, get physically ready and stuff for that one fight.
That's right.
For that one fight. But you treat every day as like a fight, man. I've noticed that. Like, your mentality is different and you stay calm. Like, I'm watching you even in Jacksonville getting prepared for that fight and going out there. I mean, you're a country guy. Yeah. So who would think that you'd be listening to country, chilling out, relaxing before you get ready to go knock somebody out?
Yeah, man. See, so like I attribute a lot of that to my youth. Growing up, again, my granddad and dad, how they used to be very on me, when I was a very young age, about me and being very competitive. And I've been a part of, like, I want to say the scene at a very young age. Wrestling in state championships at 15 years old, wrestling at nationals, playing in some of the biggest football games in the state of Georgia, number 1 ranked teams, competing against them, playoffs. Like, I've been on that stage multiple times, so it doesn't necessarily faze me, because everybody feared of walking in the cage, a lot of people around you looking, it's only you and another man. I've been a part of that for a long time, wrestling-wise. Right. I know how it feels when having all the pressure, state championship, junior year. I'm going against a guy, Aaron Gallagher, going to Oklahoma, incredible wrestler, multiple-time state champion. He had just beat me the week before at sectionals. Whole school there, whole family there. We're in the Coliseum, over 6,000 people there. And it's just you and him on the mat. Was I scared? Heck yeah, I was scared. You think I look? Right. That was actually, I feel, and I say those moments in life, when I got past that, when I beat him 10-8 in overtime, won my first state title, I said to this day, I was like, that was a confidence booster for me for the rest of my life. Because anything, even now, like when I walk in, like, yes, do you still get nerves? Yes, you get nerves before mainly any competition. But I am so confident because I've seen myself on many occasions rise up to the occasion and overcome whatever. Last year in Contender Series, I was down in my state championship. I was down in that fight. I lost the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be phased by it.
Yeah.
Sit down, let's get back, put it behind you, let's get on to the next. And that's the way I try to always train and attribute things in my life.
Did that mess with your mind? Because you mentioned you were down in the first round. I think it's the only round you ever lost, right?
That's the only round I ever
your
lost.
whole professional career.
Yeah.
What are you, 9-2 now?
I'm 8-0.
8-0. 8-0. See, you're the person you're fighting is 9-2, right?
Yeah, he's 8-2. Yes, sir.
Oh, he's 8-2. So
Yes,
he's got 2. So 8-0. The only round you ever lost was the last Contender, the first round.
That first
But
round.
then you come out and you end up choking him out.
Yes, sir. I'm a flawless second round.
Yeah.
That was literally about as perfect of a second round as I can get. That, like my coach said, that was a perfect second round. If only you would have done better in the first, probably would have had a contract. But I feel like that benefited me. So I know a lot of people look at that and seeing Dana like, oh man, Dana didn't give you contract. Because a lot of people on social media, a lot of people I'm talking to, man, you should have got that contract. Yeah. And at first, I would agree. I still feel like I should have got it, but I'm not mad at it because it allowed me to go back and work on a lot of different things. And I told people, regardless I got that contract or not, I was going to get better. Yeah. And since I went back, I feel like I'm exponentially better. And compared to last year to this year, I'm ready for anything the UFC is able to throw at me.
You know what? The one thing I remember you saying from the last podcast, you weren't bitter about it. You were like, you know what? Dana made his decision. I listened to him. I respect it, and it's only going to make me better. You knew this day was going to come again.
That's right.
So it wasn't like, hey, it's over. He's just saying, give me a little more time because I want to be able to produce and give him what he wants.
That's right.
And you were all about that, man, which I thought was awesome.
You saw, like, again, when I told you last time, man, my career has been going so fast.
Yeah,
it's flying, man. Like the stages that things I've been able to accomplish in this time span, is rare. Amongst MMA, I don't think it's rare because I'm thinking like I'm just going. What's next? That's all I am. I forget about that last fight. I utilize all the flaws from it. I take away the things I did wrong compared to. We're gonna continue to build up on the things I did good, but I take away the things I did wrong because there was a few things I did wrong in my last fight. And we want to build up on top of that.
Right.
And I'm always looking at what's next. People ask me what's your next. What's your favorite fight? It's my next fight. The next fight I'm gonna go and win. That's the fight I care about. That's
the title fight, baby.
That's
the title
right.
fight.
The title fight. That's
gonna be your favorite one
down the line. Yes, sir. But we got to think about the first step, and that's Contender Series. And I'm ready for that moment. And I think that's going to be a vital play going into this fight.
Let's talk about getting ready, especially now, because now you are super well known. You're a target now. You're on the map. Everybody's watching you. Your shit's gone viral. You're blowing up. Now you got a chance here. Your Contender Series, it's happening. It's on. You're in camp. What's it like training? Because I know you're all over. You're training in Atlanta. I know you're getting ready to fly over to Florida. You got some training going in Florida. You're going from there to Vegas to train in Vegas. You're going to Denver. You're going all over to spar and to train with some of the best people. What is that like, and how does that hit your body and everything?
Well, because it helps you build up that confidence. Like again, we're all human, and you see yourself going against world champions. And you go against those world champions or guys within the UFC that are ranked, and you see yourself competing with these guys or doing really well against them, and you're like, man, if I'm doing this to this guy, the guy I'm about to fight ain't got much of a chance, but that's the way you want. And even if you don't do as good, you want that push. How you gonna fight when you deal with some adversity? And that's why I go and look for that push. I don't necessarily go around looking for easy rounds. I want, again, like today, the toughest two guys I'm the ones I sparred with.
Yeah.
Because that, I nothing against anybody else there. I'm not saying they wasn't tough, but for one, somebody around my weight class or even bigger, and the toughest guys, that's all I'm looking for because I want to be pushed. I want to be put in that disadvantaged position. I want to be like, okay, what you gonna do, Finney? Because if you never see it, I feel like a lot of guys I fight never see themselves in bad positions. So when they get put there, they panic. You put me there, I lost a round. I ain't panic. Okay, no problem. We're gonna find a way because I've been in positions like that. We've done situational position. Okay, Finney, you down a round. Okay, Finney, you down 2 rounds. All right, what you got to do in this 3rd round? So I'm trying to force the finish. I have to finish things quicker. I have to go for certain things faster. I have to take more risk. But I put myself in those positions so we can understand how we're going to react. So by the time the fight comes, we're ready for anything that get thrown at us.
Yeah, that's great. I know recently you went down to Miami. You did, after one of your fights and stuff.
Yes, sir.
little Jorge Masvidal was down there. Did you do a little partying down there? Tell us a little about. I heard Jorge does a little. He does things a little different down there in Miami.
Dude.
He's already made his mark.
Yeah, so that is his town. So I did the party thing with him the last time I went to Miami, but this time it was a lot more chiller. But yes, with Jorge, oh my goodness, man,
What's that like, man? I mean, do you pinch yourself sometimes and be like, wow, I'm a part of this now. This is what I do. You know?
Yeah, it's different, because I would say that's not necessarily my type of lifestyle, but I understand the pros that goes with it. I don't get too deep in and like, okay, I'm going out every Saturday. No, that's just not me. But on occasions, I will step out. People get on me on how I dress because I don't always dress for the occasion correctly. But
listen, you
it.
are very reserved and very laid back. I mean, and then listen, I know just talking to you and stuff, you've had multiple girls that want to, date and go out, but you've shut it down. You're like, hey, no, I'm not trying to get in a relationship with nobody. I'm not trying to date nobody because I'm focused.
Yeah,
you're laser focused.
That is literally all I do is focus on training.
Yeah. That's
my only goal because I understand what is going forward. And right now, all I'm focused on is attaining what I can possibly attain. I'm 25. I haven't even hit my prime yet, as most people would consider MMA at 28. If I got 3 more years to my prime, when I'm trying to dog sure make the best of what I can do right now before I hit that time. And all I'm focusing on is getting better. All I do is train in the morning, train in the midday, train at night. because I feel like, again, a lot of people have been invested into me to train to the best of my ability. And I want to be able to put on not only the best for me, but for the best for them because they believe in me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it's got to be hard though, knowing that people are pulling at you in all different directions, especially now. You're coming on to probably your biggest fight in your life, to be honest.
It is.
This is kind of a make or break because darn well if I win, when I win, it's all over. I mean, can you win though? Let me ask you that. You think you're gonna beat this guy?
That's never a question for Finney. That's never. Do you think you're going to win? No. I don't live in that realm. Yeah. I am very confident I will win every fight I can. I always watch film on a lot of guys, everybody in my weight class, and I do a lot of dissecting. And I feel like there's a way I can beat every single person that's in the middleweight division.
Yeah.
But yes, but 100% sure I'm really confident against Cam. He's a very formidable opponent. Comes from a really good gym, trains out of City Kickboxing down there in New Zealand, Auckland, where Israel Adesanya trains, where Carlos Orberg, Dan Hooker. So a lot of really good MMA fighters that went on to become ranked. Obviously Israel being champion. So he comes from a very formidable gym, but that's just another guy for me to take over the top and take his name from.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, obviously, training is a big portion, and sooner or later you get to that level where you need more. Your coaches, some of the people that surround you, they've been coaching you for years. They've helped you. You got it. You got that part. But sometimes you need a different approach, is that creating problems? Or have you had any problems finding that, or has it been an issue?
No, like I said, some people in my life, one of the guys is named Johnny Jones. Johnny, he's now one of our owners at the gym. And
not John Jones.
Not John Jones. Not the GOAT. Johnny Jones.
You work with the GOAT? You work with John?
I never had a chance opportunity to.
Really?
I would like to. He's had he's used to be with First Round Management until he got he's on his own now.
Right.
But he still utilized them in a lot of different areas. He's still very close with Malcolm and all them guys. He still actually put them in his manager corner when he has to do like the manager tickets and stuff. Mm-hmm. He still brings them with him a lot. But one day we will. But I have had opportunity to speak, but not necessarily like over the phone, but not necessarily in person. So
right.
One day. But what I was gonna say, but yes, Johnny Jones, he's been a blessing in my life, me and my teammate Trevor Peake's life, and he's been going around, making really good connections, and we've been blessed to have a connection with TJ Dillashaw and Dwayne Ludwig. If anybody knows that story. Big Dwayne, baby.
Oh, man, he goes way back. I go way back with Dwayne. I remember him when he first came out with K1.
That's right,
oh,
baby.
Man.
Champion.
Yes, he was a champion.
Hall of Fame coach, one of the greatest of all times, in that realm of coaching, and one of the greatest Muay Thai kickboxing champions as well. And we've been blessed to get with him because he was done. After TJ Dillashaw had retired, he was done. And it's been a blessing that he said
That's
he
great.
wanted to help us out. So, now he's going to be coaching me and Trevor in the near future. So, yeah, man, it's been really cool to be able to have him. And, heck, that setup, that little setup we did, something that he put a little sprinkle on to help us out. So, we got some things coming up for this next fight. But he's really good at game planning and dissecting as well.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. What do you think right now is the hardest challenge you have to overcome before the fight? I mean, obviously media is big now. You got media days and stuff because of the Contender, because of the UFC. You got, you're training with different people. And in doing that, you're traveling. I know you work with Sean Strickland's going to help you out there in Vegas and stuff. Obviously he's a big name right now. He's done some big things recently.
Just won his last fight.
Yeah, exactly. Coming off a huge, good win, right? I wouldn't call it a fight. I think he just demolished. I mean, I think he was just he was practicing. He was just having a good day.
That's how he fights.
Yeah, that is how he fights.
And that's how he spars. This man literally can spar 10 rounds, and he does the Philly shell. He just goes in.
Yeah.
And just and teat. I mean, he can do it all day. And I spar him like, dude, you don't ever get tired. He just, and like what he says, it's like, how you get better at fighting? By fighting. So that's all he does. He just fights.
Has he helped you out much, do you think?
He has. He's shown me a lot of good things, a lot of different tips. He always keeps talking, man, you need to drop down a weight class. And I'm like, dude, I'm bigger than your teammate. Chris Curtis. Like, I weigh more than Chris Curtis. And he never tells that to Chris, but he probably sees my height. But once he recognized, like, my length, he's like, man, your arms are long. He said, I feel like I'm out of range, but you touch. And, being with 76-inch reach, it does help. Yeah. And I get that a lot anytime I spar somebody, because everybody always feel, man, I'm out of range. Or even when I shoot, oh, he won't be able to lock his hands. And then slowly it creeps. You're like, that don't make sense. But, that's, again, I'm utilizing the different intangibles, that long arms, broad shoulder explosiveness, that I can utilize to help my game in itself.
Yeah. It's kind of bizarre, when I look and I think about it, being so small that you are, but how heavy you walk around before the fight. Like, you fight at 185, but what are you weighing today?
Right now I'm about 215,
215.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a serious cut, man. It's 30 pounds, you got to do in a few weeks.
Yeah,
really,
right.
realistically?
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
8 weeks, yeah.
So, I mean, what is your plan? How do you do that? And how does it mentally, play with you as well? Because it's got to be a part of the plan. Like, so what is your diet like? What do you do?
Well, over time, I slowly cut because of the training. So the training knocks a lot of the weight off. And as I slowly cut, you have a lot of different foods that I eat. I started changing up my diet a lot more compared to what y'all might see on Instagram. Yes, my diet definitely does change.
Dude, you eat like shit on Instagram. I'm sitting there looking at them chicken wings and fried chicken and collard greens.
Hey,
I'm like,
good.
He's eating all this southern food. Like,
hey, you hear? Hey, look,
you
my
are
grandma,
eating good.
I can't go home. I literally can't go home because I go home. My grandma, man, she get the cooking and boom, they go another 10 pounds.
Yeah.
But I clean up my diet, and then it gets towards the fight week, and then that's when we start to temper it down. That's when I start the water load. Start off with 3 gallons for 2 days, 2 gallons for another 2 days, 1 gallon, and then no gallon the day of the cut. I cut my weight, boom, step on the scale, rehydrate. So throughout that week, throughout those days I'm drinking that gallon, I'm only eating protein and fats, no carbs. And then when I get ready to make the cut,
what about sugar?
No sugar.
No sugar. She cut sugar out totally.
Yes.
Okay.
Because actually, the thing is, once I step on the scale and get back on, I'm drinking all these electrolytes and Gatorades and Pedialytes, things of that nature, and then I eat a lot of sugar. So the first thing I actually eat is gummy bears.
Oh yeah.
Gummy bears, because you want to get the sugars that get. It's actually because of the weight cut, you want to get that sugar, all those sugar. You flushed it all out during the cut in the sauna in the hot tub. You want to get all those sugars back in you. All of it. Crazy. And I stack up on protein. I stack up on carbs, like the potatoes and bread. Oh, give it to me all day. And then most of the time I step in the cage, as you saw, like in Jacksonville, I was weighing 209.
Yeah, you were huge, man. You look so much bigger than everybody. I was like, this is not even a fair fight. Like, there's no way he weighs the same. This is the same weight class, you know? But yeah, it was. You cut weight, and have you had any issues making weight?
One time, I made the weight, but man, I had to cut 11 pounds in 6 hours.
In 6 hours?
It was rough.
6 hours.
It hurt.
6 hours, you cut 11 pounds.
Yes, it was awful.
Tell me how to do that so I can cut it right now.
Man, hot tub. Oh my goodness. I was about to fall out. I mean, it was really, really bad.
That can't be healthy.
That was in Savannah. See, so I started my cut a little later than usual. And, weight cut, anything happened. And the weight wasn't coming off as quick as it usually does. And I said, where did I go wrong? And it just wasn't coming off. So I said, all right, I'm going to go to bed a little bit earlier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to bed early so I can wake up really early so I can start trying to cut. Start going. I woke up around because we didn't have to weigh in that day until 3 something. So I think I woke up around 6 a.m., 7 a.m. Trying to do it, dude, struggling. I mean, absolutely struggling. I actually, I was off by 0.2 the first time I went and tried it on the scale. I had to go back and try to cut that 0.2. That took us about another 30 minutes. And I get on, got absolutely naked. He did a little bit lean and made
deep breath.
Deep breath. Please make it. Good. Let's go. So get rehydrated.
Now, being a professional athlete, because you are a professional athlete at this time, but even prior to, I mean, you've always been an athlete. Wrestling has been a sport you've excelled in. Football, obviously, you excelled in. When you wrestle and stuff, do you have any issues cutting weight then too, or?
So that was the blessing part. So I only cut weight once in wrestling, and that was my sophomore year when I cut from. I was wrestling at 182, but I was wrestling at 182 around 176. So I cut to 170, but that was 5 pounds. That wasn't bad. Yeah. So this is actually now since I started MMA is the first time I've actually had to cut. And me, what I weigh now is at that time I was weighing 195. So I wrestled 195 junior and senior year, and I necessarily never had to cut. It just walk around, wrestle. I played football there. As I actually gained football a little bit my senior year, then once I got back in wrestling, the weight just came off from practice. So I never had to cut. I would just walk around, wrestle where you walk around at.
Really? Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of weight, this is a good time where we're going to start with our first episode of our second season. We're going to go check out my mama, the Italian woman, Peachy's kitchen right now.
Ooh, this
she's
good time.
Cooking good. So we're going to go check her out, and we're going to go see what she's cooking right now. Yo, we're going to Peachy's kitchen right now, baby. Mama, what you got cooking out here today? You're going to get some Italian food right here, baby.
I can't wait.
Look at this spread out. We got the meatballs.
Oh, my goodness.
You got the meatballs. We got to try it out of you. Look, you got the gnocchis right here. It's a potato pasta. She rolls it with her fingers.
Oh, man.
Look at you go.
This eggplant.
Oh, boy. Sit down, baby.
Right,
Sit down, baby. Let's see. There's your fork.
Thank you.
Hey. Yeah, cheers, baby. Cheers. Salud.
Oh, man.
So we're back here. Torrez, what'd you think of those meatballs, baby?
Man, they were fantastic. Let me tell you something. See, this is what makes me mad. I could have had an opportunity. This would have been my first time tasting Peach's cooking.
Yeah.
John and Gannon, literally, you had gave us a lasagna the last time we
seen. You made
it.
a lasagna for him. That's right.
And them doggone jokers gonna sit here and take the lasagna, eat it for their own, then come to training next day, gonna be like, man, Finney, you missed out. That was the best lasagna I ever had. What? I ain't getting none. So I'm happy. Thank you so much, Peaches.
The unfortunate thing is you got a little more weight to cut now.
That's true.
You didn't just eat one, buddy. Come on, man.
There go another 10 pounds. I always tell people, you want to feed me? All right, you going to get in that sauna with me.
Now you understand my pain, You understand my pain. But thank God for, Gary Breck. I've been actually working on his program and stuff with his Superhuman protocol, which we got you a part of. So you don't even know what you did there. You did the Superhuman protocol today. You did, yeah. So for the first, you got in the cold plunge.
If you call it that.
Yeah. I know, man. You really, I was a little disappointed. I thought for sure you'd hold for the 3 minutes. I said, there's no way in hell he's going to get out, especially once you got in. And I know the pain hit you instantly because I saw the breathing. And I'm like, all right, man, now he's going to get it. No, he's going to get it. And boom, you jumped up. You're like, I got to go.
Dude, let me tell you something. I have tried the cold plunge multiple occasions, especially at the UFC PI. I tried it. Johnny Gannon has tried me to do one. I've done them for football. It was different for football.
That's different.
Because the ice would melt.
Ice tubs are very different.
And ice tubs, a few players getting in, they warm it up for you, especially them big linemen, warm it on up for me before I get in. So I could do those. But, man, straight up cold plunge, Look, you see my skin. I wasn't
Yeah,
made
but
for
you
that
got
one.
you got to admit, you feel a little better afterward.
I did feel a little better.
You can't deny that part of it all.
I will
so.
say that Gary Becker protocol, that entire protocol, man, it was phenomenal because.
Well, Jorge's actually on it. Actually, he does the same thing. Wow. Masvidal, as far as Chandler too, I know is doing it. Yeah, Michael Chandler is doing it as well. So it definitely works. I mean, obviously, I've been on his protocol, doing the oxygen afterwards. We got you on there to do that, and then of course the red light, man, where you're sitting there and it helps with the inflammation.
Yes, it does.
But
I fell asleep and I woke up like a new man.
Yeah,
I went in there. I enjoyed that. That was pretty cool. So that whole process was really, really phenomenal.
It's funny because technology changes. Obviously, there's different ways of doing things. Like you said, you talked about the cold plunge in a tub. Putting bags of ice in a tub, and by the time the fourth or fifth person gets in there, it's not as cold as it was for the first. It's not the same, But now with technology and the different things that they're making, man, it's pretty incredible. Do you find that challenging as an athlete? That some people maybe are getting a better edge than others because not everybody has access to those types of things.
Yeah, so that's the thing. Is like you see certain athletes don't have that access to certain things. That's why I'm very blessed with Peak Connect Performance. A lot of people don't have the access to people to actually understand how to train for MMA fight. Yes, John has fought, but Gannon hasn't fought. But that's not necessarily. It's the systems. The same way Phil Daru ain't fought. But he understands the systems that you're going throughout an MMA fight. So guys that have worked with a guy like Phil Daru, me working with a guy like Gannon, that's learned from some of the same things from Phil, you see my size and people think, oh, he's going to gas out quick. Big muscle guy, he's only good for 2 minutes. But you're able to see me go multiple rounds and still be as high-paced as I was in the first round to be high-paced in round 3. So that's what we're looking for. And a lot of people don't have that access. People just go to I know a lot of people that MMA fighters. Right. And I go to the gym, I work out, I do bench and I do dumbbell curls and I'm like, what that do? And then I run. Okay, that's not bad. But then after I do this and I do sit-ups and some of that stuff is good qualities, but a lot of that stuff you don't need. Like, in all honesty, you don't really need benching for fighting. That doesn't do much. You need to be doing mainly more power cleans, explosiveness, deadlifts, oh my goodness, like bar pushes and stuff like that nature, like to work on your punch, sled, medicine ball slams, to work on your hip rotation, like throwing a punch. Right. So you need those type of things and people to teach you that, to understand, and how to go through it throughout a fight camp. Rather than I'm just sporadically doing something on this day. That's not our plan. We have an actual detailed plan for each week and certain days. So,
well, it's funny because people look at you. I mean, you look like a monster. I can't even tell you. Even in Jacksonville, sitting in the stands with people, you're like, oh, he's on steroids. He's, you got to hear, you hear that all the time, right? And the funny thing is, you're the cleanest guy. You don't even drink, really. Nope. And stuff. I think when you were 21, you had an Audi.
I did.
When you were 21, I heard from the boys, you had a little Audi when you were 20. What? What happened that time, huh?
Ooh, Lordy.
You were doing
that one. That one was one of the first times.
Did you beat up a mailbox or something like that?
I did beat up a mailbox. That's around the time I had started boxing.
A mailbox can't punch you, right? You realize that. They're gonna hit
I went 1-0. So look,
that was your first start?
That was my first start against the mailbox. And then I fought the tree, and then I did 100 push-ups straight.
Wait a second. You fought the tree. What does that mean?
Dude, I was looking at a tree, and I was like, all right.
Did you kick it?
Did it go down?
Did the tree go down?
The tree didn't go down, but I was moving it. It was moving.
Oh, yeah.
I was making sure it moved. I was like, you're not just going to stay here in front of me. But, that's just, I was out of it, man. And I actually had that's when I chipped my tooth. I actually got in my football. I was playing fullback. I was still playing football. I got in my fullback stance and I like against the car. And it chipped my tooth.
Oh, car too. So you took out a mailbox. You punched the mailbox, and that did clear. You did take that one down.
Yeah.
You tried to beat up a tree and a car. That's a hell of a day, man. What was it? Was it tequila, vodka? What was it?
Oh man, it was like all mixed. So that's again when you never done it, you don't know. I had turned 21 and like the whole football team that came, everybody from the school, because everybody wanted to see.
I'm just thinking trees seeing you coming. They're going, I hope he ain't drinking today. I don't want to be beat up. I hope he ain't drinking today.
Dude, that was actually. That was one of those, like, again, that college moment you experience it, and that was fun. That was on that type of one-time deal, but like that's the thing. I always get you should see go to social media, see all the comments. Oh, he's on steroids. I know he's taking something.
Does that bother you?
No.
Does it bother you? People try to say negative things, and does it get at you at all? Do you get tired of it at times?
No, I laugh at it.
Yeah.
I was telling a lot of my friends, I was getting like all types of like. So you get 90% of congratulations.
Right.
Yeah, great job, rooting for you. You should have got the country, blah blah. Then you see the other 10% that probably was rooting for the other guy. Man, you suck. Some racist stuff here and there and stuff. I laugh at it. I don't get mad at that type of stuff. Yeah. I was like, man, these jokers taking that time out of their day to say something about me. Hey, how you doing? But I don't say nothing to them. I just read it and go on about my day. You know, like
you ever respond like, just go ahead and like it, man, and subscribe to me because you're watching me anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever respond.
Yeah.
I will say I have a lot more people more social media savvy. They get in, they get to respond. It gets funny. Yeah. You know, like I take it more of a joke. Like I actually say this. I said, man, if you ain't telling me I'm on steroid, that means I don't look as good. Right. That's right. So keep on telling me I look like I'm on steroids because I always tell people you can test me anytime. I can pee anytime. I know, you got the USADA. Well, it's no longer USADA, but they still have their drug testing stuff at UFC, and there's certain guys that they test a lot. Right. And most people think, my management team for sure think I'm going to get tested a lot.
Right. Well, of course. Looking at you, looking at you, you're very fit. Obviously, you're a freak. I'm just gonna say it. You're a freak. You're a freak of nature, right? You look good. Your arms are long, but you got this $1 million smile. So it's like, how did he get like this? He wasn't just born. But truthfully, you work your ass off, man. And I've witnessed it hands on. I don't think people realize the amount of time you actually put in to your craft. And and I actually preach this all the time. I preach this to kids and viewers, stuff that if you focus on one thing and you actually give it your all in the one thing, you can never fail. Even if you're not as good at it, at least then I gave it my all.
That's right.
But it sucks if you're like 50% in and you're doing other things along with it, and you're like, I wonder what would have happened if I put all my effort and all my time into something. Yes. And right now you're doing that, man, and that's unbelievable, and it's great. You have the ability. Obviously, you said, you got some sponsor stuff to help you out, which helps you, not have to go to work, so you can focus on your fighting.
And that's the part that I've been blessed to have, like taking that chance. So a lot of people that really know my story, I was working at FedEx at first, and I got laid off at FedEx. After I got laid off.
Hold on, wait a second. Speaking of FedEx, Dana White put out a thing where he ran into, I saw the FedEx driver. Was FedEx or UPS? It was one of UPS and FedEx and shit. When they were just throwing the boxes in and everything. Were you that guy? Were you that guy just throwing the boxes in the back of the truck?
I will say, probably on the day they pissed me off, I probably could have been one of those. I'm going to tell you this story, actually. One of the line managers, and I had to work from 2:30 in the morning to 7:30 in the morning. And I had got a call around 2 a.m. So I ain't gonna lie, I slept about 2:15, go around and brush my teeth, and I run. Because where I was living at, it was only like 8 minutes to get to work. So I get there right on time, every time, check in, do my thing. He called me about 2 a.m. Hey, Finney, what you doing right now? I said, I'm still asleep. We were asking if you could try to come in a little bit earlier to help us move. So I made a mistake. When I first got the job, when I went and got a job, I go in, tight shirt, showing the muscles a little bit. So
and this is me on. You have a schmedium
on, yeah. And this is me probably around like 220, 225. So I'm walking around a little jacked in there, and every time at the time I was working, they would always have me moving the heavy stuff. But he called me a little bit before work. Hey, Finney, we have this huge piano that we have to move. I'm sorry, safe. It was a safe, not a piano. We have moved a piano. It was a safe. We had this huge safe we have to move. And we were asking if you could come help us out before these guys get off work. And I'm sitting here like, I had already known you don't get paid extra for none of that. So I'm sitting here like, I got a question. If I wasn't working here, how would y'all move that? Well, we all was just get together. And I said, well, y'all better all get together. Beep, hung up the phone. That probably didn't help my chances of not getting laid off. But I was for one, they knew I was training, and I constantly stayed active, and I would leave training about 10 o'clock, sleep, and I always did my work. I actually would be one of the first ones to you had to meet these like quotas of like how many packages you had to put on a box and which truck and line you was on. I would complete mine first. If I'm not first, I was either second. I would get the heaviest stuff. I would always do the extra work. So it's not like I didn't do my job, but he ain't calling me beforehand, and I know I'm not getting paid. I was only getting paid like $13 an hour, so
right.
it wasn't no like, oh my gosh, I gotta go type money. But yeah, but like when I got laid off, I never forget that day. Because they were laying people off from COVID stuff. And they had laid a bunch of guys off, like even some guys that were really good workers. But he was like, hey, Finney, you can just walk right back through that door and we'll rehire you. He said, these are COVID layoffs. We'll literally rehire you. Just go back into that door right there and sign these paper. You'll have the job back again next week. And I started walking that way, and then I turned. And I sat in that car and I prayed. And I said, Lord, if this is it, I want to be able to go all in. And I had talked to my granddad, and my granddad told me, he said, little man, that's my nickname. He said, you only get one chance of this. You only get one chance of this in life. You're young now. Be all the way in or all the way out. You make the choice. I was blessed with them, my mom, granddad, dad, my whole family, grandma, they helped me out with rent up until, when my management team came. And then, once my gym, they moved me into the gym, they had me my own room in the
What
gym.
do you mean moved you in the gym?
So I started living into the gym. So
You sleeping in the locker room?
no.
Actually, so out there, what? Sleeping on the bench? What are you doing?
Hey,
Here's a pillow, man. Pick a bench.
sleep in the cage. But no, the gym, they had a room, my own shower, bathroom, washer and
Really?
dryer, bed. They really helped my brother out because we moved from one gym
awesome.
to another gym, and that's the blessing that I really enjoy for Agogi combatives. And when I moved in, the purpose was,
That's some Rocky shit right there, man. I'm just saying, that's some Rocky shit. When we went to Russia, like they moved you into the gym.
Yeah.
To
only stay focused on fighting only. They helped me they saw my passion. They saw me working at FedEx, knowing what time I had to go to work and stuff. I still would go to every noon class, every 5 o'clock class. I would teach kids class. Well, I'll tell you about. I would teach kids class at 5 o'clock, do the jiu-jitsu at 6, 7, and then do Muay Thai at 8 or MMA, depending on what it was. And I would do all those classes, man. And it was never a time where I was like, man, this is rough. I'm tired. Like you say, smile. I'm happy. I'm doing what I want to do. Yeah. So that's why even when I told you on the last podcast, I was playing football, practicing football, leave football practice, and go and train MMA and jiu-jitsu because I loved it. When I went, even though it was more energy exerting from the body, it didn't feel like that for me. Yeah. Because it did get to the time where I did start to lose my love for football. But my love for MMA had grown and martial arts. And it didn't feel like I was in there like grinding, like, oh, I got to get through this. No. It was more, I am happy I'm doing this. Right. And that was the feel when I finally made that full-time transition. Like I said, I hadn't, if you call this my job, this is my job. MMA is my job. But I've been doing MMA like this since March of 2021. Yeah. Had worked a job, and I've been blessed, to have a lot of people to invest in me and help me out. And I feel like, again, I feel like I have almost a service, not only to myself, but to the people that believed in me, my family, my sponsors, my coaches, to allow me to do this, my agent, my management team, first round, to allow me to do this for a full time. And I feel like when I'm not training, I'm taking that away from them, but I am able to go in there. I enjoy it. When you go in there and enjoy it, it's not a single day of work.
I just think it's so awesome just to hear you talk like this because, and I kind of knew who you were anyways, but, there's so many people that would take advantage of situations like that. Oh, I got a free place. Oh, I got this, I got that. I don't have to push as hard. I don't have to go as hard because look at me. They all want me. I'm good. I'm this. But you flipped it and you're like, no, I got to work harder because I want to give them what they're paying for. I want to step up. I want to show them that they made a good investment in me.
That's right.
And I'm the same way, man. I'm the same way in business. Everything I do, I'm the same way. And it's important. And unfortunately, more and more kids, I wish, were like that. And you know what's even more bizarre, thinking about this too, you were talking about working in FedEx and COVID and all that. That was like 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like two and a half years ago, 3. You've only been doing this for a couple of years, man.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, you've been doing this for a couple of years. And just look at how far already you've grown. I mean, does that blow your mind a little bit? Or you're like, no, because I'm not even close to where I'm going.
It is a little shocking to see how fast it all goes. But, man, when you see the work that you put in, like I told people about the last time I got the Contender series called the first time. I didn't get that overly joy excitement that I thought I was going to have because I was like, man, the work you put in, you deserve it. And I don't say that selfishly or cockily, like being cocky.
Yeah, but God had a plan, man. God had a plan for you at this point. Let's just call it what it is because, you didn't lose. You still haven't lost. You're still doing what you're doing, and you're so much better now than you were a year ago.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're a dangerous man. Let's just go, you know what I'm saying? And what makes you even more dangerous is you got something to prove, because they didn't give you that contract. So I pity this guy that's got to get in the ring with you. As Mr. T would say, I pity the fool. You know what I'm saying? Because, he better bring his best.
That's right.
And I think that you want his best because is it, let's talk about that for a second, because a lot of people, they don't take fights with certain people because they feel like it's not a good fight for me, or the timing's not good, Do you ever feel that way about anything, or is that something that ever bothers you, or you think about, the what ifs? Well, it might not be a good fight because what if I lose, or what if this, or what if that?
Well, so those things always go in the back of certain people's mind. All right, I'm not going to lie and say it don't, but I am very confident in my skill set, and I'm confident in how hard I train. Give me that guy. Let's see. Give me that opponent, because last year on Contender Series, UFC was asking my management team, okay, what's Finney's accolades? Like, this guy's a really good grappler. He's competed in NAGA. He competed in IBJJF. He competed at ACC. All these are big-time jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Right.
He's a brown belt. He's undefeated. Never made it out of the first round. This is going to be a tough fight. I'm sitting here like, that's what I'm looking for.
Right.
All right? And, I go out there. He's supposed to be the BJJ guy. It's so funny. The odds were like plus 1,000. I sub him. I'm the one that subbed him.
Right.
He's the brown belt.
Yeah.
Like I'm a purple belt. Like I have gotten my purple belt in very fast time. No doubt. But still,
You're still purple belt today.
Yes, sir. I think I'm closing in on my brow.
Yeah,
I'm closing in.
Talk about that in a second. But I just want to get back to the whole phase of not taking a fight, and I don't understand that, because if I'm a fighter, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm getting paid for it, and this is a career that I want, or I'm even trying to do that, I want to fight the best. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I remember just being in high school, like just being a kid in school and stuff. It's like, people, they're going to fight in the playground, and they're going to get in a fight. I wanted to, if I was going to get in a fight, I wanted the biggest guy and the baddest guy that was there.
That's right.
Because
you set the tone.
Because the whole point was hey, if I knock him out, I become king.
You the biggest.
You know what I'm saying? And if I don't knock him out, I wasn't supposed to anyways.
Yeah.
He's the, you know what I'm saying? He's the big boy.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, you always have, but it's like, I want to fight the best. In order to be the best, you got to fight the best.
That's right.
Now I get it. There's timing. Injuries come up. And that's something people don't really recognize. In the fight world, as a fan, we show up to the fights, we're watching, we're cheering. Yeah. And, it amazes me how sometimes people boo these, it's not what I'm thinking, you guys don't know what goes into what they're doing right now. It's like, we talked about this, and I actually had this conversation with somebody else earlier, was about, just shadow box for 5 minutes. Just keeping your arms up and shadow box for 5 minutes, for 5 rounds, and tell me how you feel. How about this? Run in a circle, run around and let me chase you for 5 minutes and try to avoid me. Because they're like, oh, he's avoiding him, he's running. Well, do that for 5 minutes for 5 rounds and tell me how you feel.
And tell me how you feel. And then with a guy trying to take my head off. See, people don't understand. You're fighting a guy that has spent 8, maybe 10, maybe 12 weeks focused only on to beat you.
Right.
Only on to beat your skill set.
With bad intentions.
Bad intentions.
Right.
You're like, okay. So that's why you don't see two guys come out there and start throwing caution at the wind. Because I would say fights would go maybe a little bit faster, or things might be a little crazier if these guys didn't know who we was fighting. Let's just say, oh, we're just fighting a random guy. We walk in, I don't know who I'm fighting. Just throw a random guy. Things would be a lot different. But we know who we're fighting way in advance. It's not like in football, you got week to week. In basketball, you got your schedules. Like you might play 2 or 3 games in a week. But fighting, I'm competing against that guy every single week up until the fight. All right. And up until that fight, once I get ready to actually step in the cage with him, now we put all our skill set. And the thing is, not everybody's 100%. Anything can happen. The weight cut could have went bad.
Right.
The weight cut could have went bad. He didn't rehydrate as good as he usually does. He might have got sick the week of the fight.
Yep.
Things actually happen.
Hey,
something in his family.
Right.
happened.
That's right. Something death could have happened. Some traumatic. Maybe the wife's in hospital or a kid's sick. Or
that's right.
A lot of things happen in people's lives that as a fan they don't see that part. And that's why, I love talking and I love these podcasts and I appreciate being so people can see the other side of really what goes in it and what's behind it. We show up, we want to see entertainment. We want to see somebody get smacked. Well, your last fight, that's what we want. We want to see you knock the shit out of somebody. We want to see that. And, but it's like, you think about it like that. And when the fights don't go the way you want them to go, you're like, oh, it's boring or it's not so good. And unfortunately, some of the fighters take a bad rap for that. A lot of fighters do.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like, you see it as you go. Again, as I was talking earlier about the John Jones. John Jones says it best. Yes, how many knockouts does he have on the feet? You go and look at it. Oh, well, John Jones have no knockouts on the feet. He has the head kick he did to DC, but he finished it with ground and pound. If you take away that, per se, he has no knockouts on the feet. John Jones have majority ground and pound finishes and subs.
Right.
He is deemed the greatest of all time.
Do you believe that? Do you believe he's the greatest of all time?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
The guys he beat, my gosh. Yeah. The light heavyweight division when he was coming up and he won the title at 21 years old?
Yes.
And he literally is undefeated.
Right.
I know he got the one loss.
Well,
the Hamill, I know, but it was
a bad elbow. The back
and
of
the guy,
head.
he
didn't know what he was doing.
The guy head was doing like this the whole fight. The referee should have stopped that fight 30 seconds prior. But even then, that's what I'm saying. The guy's undefeated, never lost a fight.
But okay, so let's look at this. A guy who's undefeated, hasn't lost a fight. I'm a big John Jones fan. Obviously, come from New York, upstate New York too, and some of the things he did prior. Now, he got famous when he started fighting, doing well, and he went through some bad shit. He did some bad stuff. He got some. He went through some troubled times. But we all do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest. Like that, it's the troubled times is how you learn and how you change. You either change or you get worse, and then you go the other route. And I got to say, man, he changed. You know what I'm saying? He stepped up. I know DC, they have their talk and their squabbles and stuff about certain things and everything. And that's good. It's all fun and games. And maybe they'll never be friends or whatever it may happen, how true it is or how not true it is, whether it's being played out or not. But at the end of the day, John Jones is a human being. And when he gets in the ring with you, you know what I'm saying? It's just him and you. Right. And, who's going to come out with their hand raised? That's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
my money's on John all the time, right? So I don't care. But the off, out of the ring stuff is important. Do you think about that now becoming a higher level, fighter? I mean, you're going to be in this situation. There's no doubt in my mind you're going to win. I just, I'm calling this. I'm calling this to the viewers right now. August 20th, tune in. I'm putting my money on Torrez Finney. I'm telling you right now, I'm putting my money on him. Within 3 rounds, it's over. Okay? That's it. You heard it from Wham Bam first. If you want to be a winner, go ahead and place your bet right now. But after that, I feel you're going to get the UFC contract. You're going to be fighting. There's going to be some big fights and stuff out there for you and so forth. But now all of a sudden you're going to be deemed, all eyes are on you. People are going to poke at you. They want to poke the bear. I feel like John got poked quite a bit too.
He did.
You know, maybe he got set up a little bit. Maybe maybe things weren't so fair. You know, and stuff. And what becomes private and what becomes public with social media and the way everything is today, it's hard to live a life in private anymore. You know what I mean? I mean, shoot, I can't even drive my car. My Tesla, I'm driving down the road and I try to grab my phone and it beeps at me. It tells me I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, they're watching me. You know what I mean?
Nothing,
I'm like, shoot, man. You know, so, I mean, does that scare you? Does that bother you?
It doesn't, because again, when you try to live your life by doing the right thing, things like that doesn't necessarily faze you. I tell people, come look at my life. Come look at my phone. Come do. You won't find anything. Like I don't care who you are, because I do try to live my life accordingly to the word. You know, I'm a big believer in Jesus Christ, and I try my best to do what I can possibly do to live that lifestyle. Like, yeah, do we all fall off by the wayside by doing mistakes here and there? But okay, I might drink here and there, you know. But besides that, like, but again, that's literally on occasions. I don't literally ever do drink at all, really. Like the last time I drank was when I went on vacation to Miami, and before that was all the way to last year after Contender series fight. I just took like a shot. Right. So I don't do really anything. All I do is fight and game.
But what happens is, you know, somebody walks up to you and they get in your face and they're like, "You're a punk, and I could take you," you know, and they right? You know, they're trying to. You're a professional fighter, you know. I want you to swing at me so I could sue you. You know what I mean? I want that so that I can, you know, I can go ahead and put a lawsuit. There's a lot of people that do stuff like that. That's right. And professional athletes got to think about this type of thing. Same thing with women. Women, you know, women do it too. You know what I'm saying?
That's
they're
right.
You know, they're trying to get a date, and all of a sudden, boom. I'm not saying they all do this, but it's happened.
You're right.
You know, hey, date rape.
You gotta be mindful.
They beat me up. They put their hands on me, and maybe legitimately, maybe it's happened, but maybe some of them didn't happen.
That's right.
You got to be careful of those things.
That's right. That's why you have to, you know, my grandma, my granddad, they stay on me all the time. But watch where you eat and drink. Watch who you go out with. You know, my granddad's already big, you know, you better not be having sex until marriage anyway. But, you know, but still, even then, like, make sure everything's like, for sure, like, know that girl's age. You know how that stuff going on around, and knowing what's going on here and there. Like, don't just go and be going places by yourself. Like, if you're going to take her out on a date, but you don't have to go in no room with her. You know, because things like that can turn into something else. Only because they might be trying to get something from you. And when they don't get it, they might scream for something else. And like, again, I'm not saying every situation is that, but for a lot of athletes, it is. You know, we've had an athlete back at home in Macon. He actually played the NFL. It hurt a little bit of his career because a girl said that he raped her. And when he went through the course, through the process, it was never true. And then she even confessed it wasn't true. Right. Just trying to get something out of it. And then it hurt him down the line, hurt him from drafting. So it's sad to see things like that, but you have to be mindful. So you can't put yourself in those type of positions. Like, hey, we go to the movie, go out to eat, but you go home. You know, that's it. You know, like you don't try to put yourself in those type of situations, especially when you're trying to elevate yourself in a certain way.
Well, your family's done a hell of a job raising you because you're grounded that way. And more kids need to be that way because, you know, it is unfortunate. And I do think athletes get taken advantage of it many times because of the fact, you know, like I said, you know, people come up there, they're going to test you. They're going to, you know, they want to take out the champ, you know. You know, they want to test their own skills and stuff, and not being smart about it. Now, let's talk about that when it comes to like practicing and stuff. I know like Sean Strickland had an issue when he was at camp, when he was training. He got into, you know, training with somebody, and they weren't playing really nice before a fight. And
Orlando Sanchez.
Unfortunately, he's passed away now, right? Rest his soul. But, you know, that was a big thing and blew up, obviously, social media and stuff. But that's a real concern. I mean, watching the video, obviously, you know, you saw that it happened with Sean and stuff. But do you ever have that, you know, worry when you're going out to different gyms and you're sparring with different people and they're like, oh, there's Torrez Finney. Oh, let me get a piece of that.
It is a concern sometimes, but you can't necessarily worry. You have to go out there and just train. You know, if you go out there trying to thinking about that, it usually happens. So you go out there and just go out there and train and hope for the best. Now, yes, injuries does happen within training, but it does get to a point to where you have to be mindful of who you're sparring with. You don't spar with everybody. All right. That's one of the things, again, that's the little ego part where you feel like, oh, I'll just go with anybody. Oh man, that's a good round. I'm gonna go with him. Blah, blah. Not every round you need to go with. Sometimes you might need to go with the same guy twice because that's better for the fight you're about to fight rather than going with this guy just because of you want to see how you test yourself against them. You know, you have to be smart on the rounds that you're going against so you can elevate yourself and make sure you can get out of this fight camp as close as 100% as possible. It's very rare that everybody gets out of the fight camp 100%. But as close as possible, you try your best.
Now, do you do that when you walk into a place? You tell them, hey, listen, I got a big fight coming up in the middle of camp, so that, you know, they have that level of respect so that they're, you know, they're toning it down some?
Yeah. We talk like for instance, like today, like the early rounds, like me and Trayshawn, we didn't go as hard with each other.
Now, Trayshawn was on the Contender, right?
Oh,
no, he was on Ultimate Fighter.
He was on Ultimate Fighter.
He made it to the finals.
He made it to the finals.
Yeah.
Yeah, he finished 2 guys back to back. Had a great performance. Yeah. He did tear his knee before the finale, so they moved the finale. He moved the finale. You know, he didn't win that, but he lost by decision. Good fight. And he had some wins in the UFC, and he's done really well for himself. Yeah. And
I like him. Good kid.
He is a good guy.
Yeah, good guy.
He is.
Good guy.
Very motivating. He pushes you. We're able to push each other.
Big Jesus follower too. I love that.
Yes, he is.
You know, he's spiritual. I like that.
He's very spiritual. Yeah. If you watch his Ultimate Fighter stuff, you see a lot of that stuff. That's how he walked.
Yeah.
I love it how, you know, he would do his thing, you know. He was like, Jesus got me here for a reason, man. I'm sorry, but you're not going to take what Jesus got from me. I love it, man. Right. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. But Trayshawn, he's very motivating, and, you know, we definitely get some good rounds. But again, you don't see it until like the end of the round. We're like, okay, we got a minute left, minute and a half left. All right, let's turn it up. You know, let's go. You know, you need those times. Because there are rounds, like in my camp, I am going to have those rounds. Bite down that mouthpiece, let's go. You know, you're going to have those rounds. But a lot of the times you need to be going at a high speed, but I'm not throwing as much power because I need to still be able to get through that round. You know, and your partner, you need to make sure you have your partner there. Because a lot of people be beating up their training partners. Their training partners can't make it through the camp. If your training partners can't make it to the camp, then dog, what you gonna have? You know, like, you know, you gotta pull back on your. And you know, I had to learn that myself. I had to pull back on some of my power because, you know, sometimes my training partners were like, oh, I can't make it to training day. And I went, dog, I need him. You know, because you need your training partners. It's a team. Right. You're going to that fighting, but you're bringing a whole team with you. And that team is elevating you, helping you get towards that fight. So you can't just beat them up like too bad.
How do you think your chin is, man? Do you got a good chin or what?
Yeah, I think, you know, it's funny. A lot of people kept seeing my picture on social media, like how my neck is and my shoulders. Yeah. I think because of my body composition, it does help my chin. You know, got a big head. You know.
All right, so I got a question for you. Slap is a big deal right now, right? Ooh. Slap is they're out there.
I don't think it helps anybody's chin.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, would you do slap?
No.
Would you? You wouldn't.
Quick,
you
no.
would do slap.
Emphatic no.
Not even for a price. Like
no.
$1,000.
Nope.
To sit there and to get slapped just one time, just one cut.
If I get slapped, somebody catching a fist on the other side. just not happening. There's just no way I'm gonna. I would be. Dana is crazy.
Yeah,
Go
listen,
ahead, Dana.
Friday before your fight, or Friday coming up this Friday. You know, Slap is actually in Las Vegas, and I think a couple of UFC fighter girls actually are on Slap now. Paige, I think Paige Van
Zandt.
Yes, I believe she's doing Slap. I'm pretty sure. Check that out for us. I'm pretty sure. I will confirm that, but you know, I don't want to. But yes. Put the chin out there. Slap that girl.
That girl's too cute to be doing slap.
She is real cute. She's real cute. But she's a beast.
She is a beast.
She's a beast, and she ain't scared.
No.
But, you know, people are doing that. Like, do you think that really tells a tale of your chin, or is it really where you hit?
Well, slap is too... You're not defending yourself at all. So somebody's getting the hardest shot possible that they can throw on you without any defense. So, yeah, if you got a good chin, but if you ain't got no neck muscles... then, you know, that's why we work a lot on our neck. You know, they talk a lot about Yoel Romero. When Yoel Romero had his surgery on his neck and he had his neck fused. And when he turned, he had to turn like this. So when he would get hit, he took a head kick from Paulo Costa and kept walking forward like nothing happened. Nobody, I ain't never seen Yoel Romero like you see him sometimes get rocked, but he's still like moving. So like I think with my neck, like you saw, like people saw me in Contender series, I got hit, but that guy was hitting me with all power shots, and it stumbled me, but I wasn't necessarily like out of it because again I was still able to pick him up and slam him right after he hit me with a good combination. Yeah. But I feel like I have a really good chance, especially guys I spar.
So hold on, what if Dana said, "Listen, you won the Contender, but in order for to get the contract, you have to do one round of slap."
Oh my God.
Would you do it?
I'm like, Dana, how many stipulations you want? I had to win twice on this show. Now I got to get a slap.
You got to win twice and you got to get slapped.
Oh my God.
And Paige is on the show. Paige is doing it.
Oh my gosh.
Let's make it confirmed.
That's actually incredible. I am actually really surprised she's on that. But dog, man. I'll take a little slap. I'm going to tell you this. You're going to give me some time before I have my first UFC fight. Let me recover from whoever. Because it depends on who's slapping me. You're like, obviously, I'm going to have to be slapped by somebody in my weight class. Yeah. So it's not like there's no small guy slapping me. This is somebody with big hand coming across.
Look at your hand, though. You got a big old hand right there.
Yeah.
Chopping that down.
Yeah, well, we ready to put some punches to the face. But yeah.
All right, so let's talk about, I'm taking like that's up for grabs. You're not sure whether or not you take that slap or not.
Yeah. Just give me another Contender fight.
Yeah. I'll fight a third time. I got it.
Yeah.
Talking about fights, talking about fans, talking about different experiences. People are, buying these. The ticket prices have gone through the roof, obviously. All the fights that they're doing, they've done a great job. UFC building the brand has been, unbelievable. What Dana's done, I know he's got a big UFC fight going in, for into the Spear, for the Mexican holiday and all that.
That's
and,
right.
So I know he's spending a bunch of money. The ticket sales have gotten really ridiculous. Yeah. And for like floor seats, good seats, like the Conor McGregor fight, and I'll give you an example. Like I spent my son-in-law is from Dublin, Ireland, big Conor fan. I said, next time he fights, I'll bring you there. We'll get Floyd, we'll go. Well, buy floor seats, and turns out now all of a sudden Conor backs out of the fight. Not that let me rephrase that. He didn't back out of the fight. He got hurt, right?
He got hurt.
So he got hurt. And that happens.
Broken pinky toe, which is hurts your feet really bad.
Yeah. So which we hope he heals better and so forth. But at the end of the day, that's not what the fan paid for.
That's right.
That are paying for some of these seats. I'm talking $30,000, $40,000 a seat. Some of these seats are going for and stuff.
Good gosh.
I mean, how do they justify that? What are your thoughts on that? Like, what can they do to fix that blow? I mean, it's kind of like you pay a fight to go watch Muhammad Ali, and he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
But they keep your money. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're right, because people came to see Conor. They got the next best star in their company, which is Alex Pereira. He is. I mean,
Alex
is either him or
is
he? They're the next big guy.
Right.
So when you go get that next, or I'll take that back, Sean O'Malley. But when you go get that next star that's ready, which a guy like Pereira was, you're like, okay, we can justify this fan because he's going to come see another star. Yes, McGregor is different. Everybody knows that a McGregor fight is just in his own world. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to switch that out because everybody, when you ain't seen Conor fight since, 2 years? Mm-hmm. He ain't fought in 2 years. So everybody wants to see how Conor's looking, what he's doing, how he's going to come out against a good opponent like Chandler. That's a fun fight.
Yeah.
And then the fight was at 170.
Yeah.
Yes. So it wouldn't even, is these guys going to be filled out, not really cutting, just go in there and just fight? That's how you would like it. No weight cut. Me and you, we see each other, no fight. Like, let's go. And I know it was a little bit, disheartening to hear, obviously to the fans, but I think they're talking about they're trying to get that fight back on soon. I think more in the fall, but
then I got to buy tickets again.
Yeah, I know. No, Dana. Dana.
No, but I'm just saying, it's unfortunate because the price is because it has hasn't changed. Like, because you are paying more for some fighters than you are for others.
That's right.
It's just a reality.
You're going to pay more for a
People are bringing
fight.
in different. Yeah.
Yes, than Leon Edwards.
Yeah.
Granted, great fighters, but people want to see Conor more than Leon. People want to see Gervonta Davis more than they want to see any other boxer.
Right.
So you have to, they put the prices to the name. the name on the card. If you on that card, like an Israel Adesanya card or a Sean O'Malley card, like it's gonna cost more to come and see those guys fight because those guys bring in that pool. They is that type of star part. They're superstars.
Right.
You got your stars. You got Leon Edwards. I think he's a star. You got a lot of guys stars. Kobe Covington's a star.
Everybody has their own fan base. Let's just
everybody got their own fan
Everybody's
base.
got their own fan
They're
base.
stars.
So, I mean, when you're in the UFC, you are a star.
You're a star.
Just say, you're going to have a fan base regardless because
but
you're
superstar.
Yeah. I mean,
that's different,
right? Because it's what you do with it. Again, type of thing. How do you promote yourself? How do you handle yourself outside of the ring as well as inside of the ring?
That's right.
Who's talking where you got beef? You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to hear a little beef and stuff.
Yeah, a little trash talking.
Yeah, a little trash talking. It all happens. How real is that now? Let's talk about that for a second. Like trash talking, like where's that gone? Because over the years, it's gotten out of hand a little bit. To the point where you wonder, is it real or is it not real?
I think people have been doing trash talking now because they see how much it can generate. When Kobe Covington said what he said about Leon Edwards' father, dead father.
Yeah. Horrible.
It was horrible. But it generated like an
buzz.
extra 100,000 buys. At what cost do you talk like, I'm going to put you to sleep or something. He was like, same way like your dad did something, I'm sure he'll be looking down, you're looking up from hell or something, some cruel thing he said about his dad. And Leon threw something at him, was pissed. Generated more sales because, oh man, these guys got beef. Oh, they're gonna mad at each other. Well, it's that line. I feel like there is a line. Even Dana said it. There's a line you can cross. But he said again, I can't control that. That's the fighters.
Dana's done such an awesome job with that. Like, that's one thing he always preaches. He's not going to tell you what to say, who to sponsor, he doesn't get involved. He's like, you have your own freedom of speech for a reason. That's right. And he doesn't get in the way. I applaud him for that.
He don't, and it's not his right to necessarily. Well, he can, but you don't have to.
Well, I mean, they could tie you down. Be, hey, you want to be in the UFC, you're going to do it our way. Blah 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 blah. But
like, look at Sean Strickland. You see how he talks. I mean, you see how Conor McGregor talks. Like, those guys are going to talk like that, but it's not going to be nothing that necessarily they put a hold on because they know. Heck, the way that they talk is how they get their fan base. Right. That's how a lot of these guys have created. That's how Kobe Covington got his fan base. He's talking crazy. I mean, crazy. But he's doing his thing to sell pay-per-view. So he's doing what he's asked to do, and he's selling the pay-per-view, which is, I mean, he wants to make more money. You got to put your neck out there a little bit.
I like the way you talk. You talk with your fist. You're like, I'm just going to go ahead and crush this guy's jaw, and I'm going to make a video that's going to go viral, and there's my target. I don't have to say another damn word. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again August 20th.
That's right. That's right. That's the thing. Is like I've only had one encounter. A guy named TK Mattress. He was trash talking me. It was my amateur fight, my fourth one, and he was. I'm taking that belt. You nothing but a bowling ball, and call me all types of different things. And I would say some things back. It wasn't nothing crazy. And I was like, no, you're not taking my belt. I was like, the only thing you taking back is a knuckle to the side of the head or something. Like, I'm not the best at trash talk, but, I'll play the game. If somebody plays the game with me first, I'll play it back. Yeah. Because I don't necessarily have the enemy. I enjoy this, so it's fun for me. Right. You might my opponent might be, I'm gonna get, I'm mad. You could be mad. Like, I don't have to get mad. Me getting mad at you isn't my motivation. It's just the fact that you signed a contract is my motivation. Because anytime you sign a contract, that means you think you can beat me. And if you think you can beat me, well, then that's all I need. So that's the motivation I have. I don't need any other extra motivation because it's enough. You think you can beat me. You think that you can go in this cage and get your hand raised over me. I don't think that.
That's well said, man. I've never heard that one. That's a good one. You sign that contract. There's my motivation.
That's my motivation. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's the motivation. That's all I need. Yeah. You think you can beat me? Okay, well, let's see. You got 8 weeks. Let's see who's going to do it better than the other.
Well, you know what? It brings me to my next question. Back in, a while back when you were here on our first pod that we did, you had mentioned if you could fight somebody currently in the UFC, the one guy that you really would love to fight would be
Bo Nickel.
Yeah, it's still Bo
right.
Nickel.
It is still Bo
Nickel. And obviously, he's blowing up right now, too. Like, he's done some great things. Won the last couple fights out there as well. You know, his fan base is growing. How do you feel about it now?
Again, I'm growing as a fighter, as he is. You know, he's looking better by the fight. You know, he has some flaws in there, but he's growing. He literally only has 6 pro MMA fights, so he is very young in his career now. Even though he's 28, I believe. I think he's about to turn 29, but regardless, 28. I feel like as I am growing, I am surely closing that gap, and I don't think it's necessarily a gap between me and him. I think it's more of the gap of when that time is going to come when I fight him. That's the gap I'm looking at. I honestly do believe that I have the qualities and the skill sets to beat him right now.
Yeah,
I do.
Right now.
Yes, I do. Yeah. But I understand that for sure is a fight down the line, and when that day comes, just know I will be ready, and I've been looking forward for that one.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Nothing against him, but
we're manifesting this, baby. We're manifesting. Viewers, I need you to manifest this with us, man. We're manifesting. It's gonna happen. It's gonna come down. I think it's gonna be great. It would be a great fight.
Yeah.
It really would be.
Oh, it would be.
Two major wrestlers, too. You know, both big time. You know, it would be a good show for sure. It'd be a fun one. All right, so this is part of the show where I want to pick something that's a little bit of controversy and see what your thoughts are.
All right, bring it on.
We talk about gender. People that now are changing genders. You know, the guy that wants to be a girl, the girl that wants to be the guy, and they want to compete in the sports and stuff. How do you feel about that?
I absolutely disagree with a guy turning to a girl trying to go and play in a women's sport. We've seen it multiple times in college. We've seen it a few times where I think one of the women, guys, got into the swimming or racing, and they won over the girls. And you're like, well, what's going on here? Well, one time there was I think it was a Texas wrestling champion. Guy turned a girl and beat all the girls in the state championship. And you're like, well, what's going on here? And to me, it feels like, okay, because I'm not saying they're doing that because to try to do the sport, but the fact that you switched over and you still want to continue to play your sport, but you want to play it in a different gender, I don't think that's a good thing, because now you had your opportunity, and take that back. You still got your opportunity. You can still play with the men. Nobody's holding you back. You can look like a girl, but you still play with the men. But you can't go in the girl sport.
Yeah, but how do you feel about like a man having a sex change to be a woman and fighting MMA against a woman? But you were a former man. That's like you converting to a female and now fighting another female.
Come on. All right, come on. That's what I'm saying. That's not good. Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's crazy to me, man. And it's hard for me to I don't even know how people can just sit there and try to justify it. like you listen to the argument and you're like, there's no possible way that you think this is okay. Well, the hormones and blah, 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 and they cut it off, and that don't mean anything. You still a man.
You're still a man.
That's nothing going to change.
There's still an advantage there for sure.
Huge advantage.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you fighting a girl right now. Like you're not sparring with girls.
No.
You know, so it just doesn't happen. I know girls are in there fighting, which is very unique and awesome. You know, watching what happened over the years, them coming out and actually taking over the sport. Like
that's right.
You know, there's some great competition, which, you know, women can compete at a high level.
They can.
Clearly. You know, hell, I had Atlanta Explosion women's professional football team here in Atlanta that full contact, full NFL rules, and some of these girls were better than the guys, I can be honest with you. Wow. And they were awesome because they were like sponges, because they wanted to learn, they wanted to get better, and they had no bad habits.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And stuff. So, and they're playing for the love of the game. They just truly enjoyed playing the game. You know, so I think there's an outlet so they can perform in any sport, but I think when your crossroads, you know, are met,
bringing it over, like the times where, you know, like again, when they was talking about the girls switching over to playing, one girl played safety on a football. I think it was a Division II school, and you just. I mean, okay, yeah, she might come down and hit a few boys, you know, make some tackles. Probably fast, get in position. But man, you just get like a Derrick Henry type running back. Yeah. A big swole guy running downhill. You're gonna make you change your mind real quick. Yeah. You know.
And honestly, that can happen with anybody.
That can. Even with a boy, I agree.
That
but you wouldn't want to see that woman continue to take that impact
Right.
over and over again, going against obviously something that she's in a huge disadvantage to get at birth. It's not a disadvantage because something that she can control. This is a at birth disadvantage because you are a woman compared to a man. And obviously men have certain advantages that women don't. So you can't take that type of, there's just certain risks that you wouldn't want to see a woman. Like early on when you have kids young, when they're like, 5 and 6, yeah, girls and boys can play together. They probably could play football together because nobody ain't got their man strength yet. Nobody ain't old enough yet. But once they start growing, that's when the separation. That's why when middle school comes, separation. Because now it's different. You can't have that same anymore.
Right. Well, I appreciate your comments on that and your view and stuff. Just want to finish up real quick about your upcoming fight. You're going to be getting ready. Do you feel like you have an advantage because you've already been there before, because you've been on a Contender? You know what it's like the week of. Walk me through what is the week of? What does it look like when you're out there and it's like, okay, it's the week of the fight. Obviously, you're going to be in Vegas when that happens. What's your daily routine like, and leading up to the fight? What is it that you focus on?
Well, you focus a lot more. Continue to harp on the game plan.
Does the training get a lot less because
Yes,
of injury?
a lot less.
Okay.
Yes, like so I don't train as hard. I still do my cardio. Strength and conditioning is very high around that time, like the week before the fight for sure. But the training is more pad work, skill set development, just working on that, what we're going to do on the fight. Everything's a lot lighter. It can't be as hard anymore because now we got the fight coming up. You don't want to take no crazy injuries like jamming your thumb or breaking your toe, just random stuff. But the fight week, a lot of things are smooth, just working on a lot of things, focus on the game plan. Like I said, 2 days before the fight, I'm playing the game chilling. I'm just focused on weight cut, getting on the scale, making sure my cardio's good, getting on the scale, making sure my weight's good, getting down. And then when fight day hits, I tell people, man, it's different because when you walk into that cage, there's no music, there's no announcement. You walk in, you ready, fight. It reminds me a lot like wrestling. I wrestled all my life. That's the way it was. We walk on the mat, shake hands, wrestle.
Yeah.
So I've been in that moment. The guy I'm fighting hadn't fought in 2 years. And I do think that will play different. Yes, I'm sure he's been getting better. Yes, he trains at a really good gym to help him out. But it's different in MMA, man. It's different. When you ain't seen that live action in that time span. I know, I spar. You can go live, you can train with who you train with. But when that actual lights come on and the pressure's there and it's time to get going, it's a lot different than what you actually think you might be prepared for. So the fact that I've already went through it, and I think I went through it in one of the better situations you can go through. I had to deal with adversity and come back from it. So I think being on that stage, dealing with that, coming back from it, and then be able to come back again, I think it does play dividends, and it will be an advantage for me.
You think we're going to see another Wham Bam Slam? Huh?
I think we might see a Wham Bam Slam.
We'll see a little Wham Bam Slam, baby. Let's go. There we go. There you go.
Yes,
there
sir.
you have it, folks. Torrez the Punisher Finney in the house, August 20th. Make sure you keep an eye out there. I got a good feeling you're going to see him in the UFC after this fight. Thanks so much for coming, champ. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Love having you here.
I love being on this anytime.
Can't wait, baby. Can't wait
sir.
through to August 20th. We're there for you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Oh my God! What? Wow. I've watched thousands of fights in my 23 years of combat sports. I